Good afternoon. So, as I had mentioned in, earlier this morning on a post, um, I am now required to take my lunch this summer between 12 o'clock, 12 noon, and 12:30 p.m. So it is now officially noon. I have clocked out for lunch, and now I'm going to make the best of my lunch break, which really is just technically me putting, clocking out and then, sitting here as I have been doing since 7 a.m., not really able to do much. So, for those who are able to come in and watch in on this, welcome. This is my office, as you know, and just one of those random things I've decided to do until things change. Is my afternoon, lunchtime, lunch follies, as I say. I've now named them temporarily mandatory lunch follies because it's mandatory that I take lunch. Thank you for the like, Karen. I appreciate all of the viewers who come in and look forward to these. And I'm going to be talking about a few things today. Hopefully, not too many weird things in regards to work because I'm already, knee deep in it. And, there's a lot of that I can't do right now. For example, the IT department in the central office decided last minute last week that they're going to do a professional development on Friday. And Friday, as my work schedule is for this summer, I'm not going to, I'm only here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays here on the school campus. I'm not here Mondays and Fridays because of my obligations to the other job that I prefer being at, which is my performing arts workshops summer camps, which I will go into later. If there's anyone on here who has children and is interested in getting into one of these summer camps that are running between now and the end of June, actually the end of August, well, middle of August, there's quite a few slots still available if you're interested in that, and I can definitely answer those questions for you since I work there. So, the big thing too is, I'm only here 3 days a week, but it just seems like it's going to be a very, very long summer at this point. Especially when, as IT, I am now technically part of office staff, which doesn't make any sense. I clocked out at noon, and so the other office person who's supposed to clock out with me hasn't clocked out yet, and I don't think she's obligated to listen to this whole, noon thing, but I figure I might as well just do the whole, dog and pony show and just, fine, whatever. A couple things. Actually, there were several things that I had on my agenda, which I have written right here because I mentioned that I was going to talk about a few things. If you guys had been listening in on a few broadcasts ago, I had mentioned that Evan had lost the keys to his Kawasaki Ninja 300, and he wasn't able to. He was trying to figure out, how to get a replacement. And I had answered over the phone. I had Delama Motorsports in Redondo Beach call back and tell me, we can do it. We just have to send out the key code and a proof of your VIN to Kawasaki and they can do it. Now, after I had mentioned this, it turns out that Evan had found a service on eBay of a gentleman who, using the code that you give him, he can actually create the key because apparently all of the motorcycle dealerships, and I mean not motorcycle dealerships, but motorcycle brands, because a lot of them use the same ignitions, the codes translate over through multiple brands. And so, he decided to give it a shot because, as I had mentioned, it costs about, I think with shipping, for one replacement key with with the OEM blank, you're looking at about $57 to replace the single key. With the eBay option, it's half that. And turnaround time was going to take anywhere from 7 to 10 days, which is exactly the amount of time that it would take for a key blank, a key replacement to come from Kawasaki directly. So he decided to give it a shot because it's half price, it's going to take the same amount of time, and hey, why the heck not? This guy has a 99.4% customer feedback rating. So, I mean, that's pretty good in eBay speak, especially if you do a lot of transactions. I've been on eBay myself for, let's see, this July is 17 years on eBay. I've been a member since 2000. And so, keeping that 100% and, 9900% rating is like gold. So, anyway, so he got the key. The service is that they don't return it to you. The blank is on an Ilco blank. So it's a high quality blank, but it is not, what is it? It's not an OEM. Okay, so it looks like one of those silver keys that you would get at the at like Home Depot or Lowe's, but it's specific for the bike. So the good news is you have that. Now he was a little skeptical at first because he looks at this key and goes, I don't remember my key looking like that. So he goes ahead last night, tries it, and lo and behold, it works. So if you want that service, as long as you have your key tag, it does work. You can go on eBay. The service is there. If you're curious about who it was, I can send you the link directly. But the good news is there are people out there who know how to do it based off the key tag that came with your motorcycle when you bought it. So yay for Evan. The Ninja 300 can now start up again. He can take it home. I mean, for the time being, he's been borrowing Pam, so it's okay. He's been running around with the Versas, and it's been fun. But I think he would like his motorcycle back, and I'm really glad it all worked out for him. So good news is, that particular key can be duplicated. I just gotta do a little bit more research and find a locksmith that can duplicate keys the old-fashioned way, because you can't just shove that in a machine like you can with a standard Schlage or a Quickset. So hopefully that'll work out. So the good news is, yay for keys. He's back on the road, and eBay saves the day right there. So yeah, good news on spare bike keys. So the next thing we have going on here, Performing Arts Camp. If I had mentioned yesterday, or as I had mentioned, I work at Performing Arts workshops Mondays and Fridays, and Monday was officially the first day of camp. Now, first day of camp can go in multiple directions. This is my 4th year doing this, and this one actually has been one of the most seamless. I've been very fortunate that I've been able to stick around and watch, the processes grow and change as time has gone on, and it's been good. And but it's an early start. I mean, I go in and I'm at my site at 6 a.m. and jump in the company vehicle and deliver a bunch of stuff all over God's creation. What do I mean by that? Well, I start down south, so I'm pretty close to about the Torrance border, and I have to drive all the way to Brentwood. So like yesterday, we have about 10 sites. I better have that number right, but it's about 10 sites, and I was asked to go to 4 of them to deliver goods and services and all that stuff, make sure that things weren't blowing up, or if there was an issue, I could be the on-site liaison for the office staff that are at the central location. And so yeah, they said, go stop by 4 of the locations, and also my other job is taking pictures at the sites. So that was pretty lively, because it turned into 5 stops and lunch before I had to sit in traffic. It took me coming from Chatsworth, I think it took me about an hour and 25 minutes to get back down south. It was crazy. So but in many cases, sitting through traffic in that is a lot more peaceful and enjoyable than sitting at this desk that I've been sitting at since 7 a.m. Kind of slightly hogtied in terms of what I can do, because apparently the purposes of this professional development I have to go to on Friday involve the new inventory system that we're migrating over to. So with that being said, I can't do any inventory because of what could potentially happen with this new system. It's lovely, I've been by myself all day. The other people who are required to be here aren't here, and the people who are required to be here just come in late and don't get yelled at. But I'm crossing my I's and dotting my T's, because that's what I do. You know, I'm pretty much mishmash like that, and I'm just gonna follow directions as much as I have to. So, um, anyway, back to performing arts camp. So this year, you know, we added two new locations to our ongoing camp locations. You know, we for the last few years we've had eight. We kind of dabbled into potentially bringing in a ninth one. That one fell through due to low enrollment. It happens. But this year we're moving over to. We have two new locations. One in Long Beach and the other one in Palos Verdes. So that's really really cool.
Sorry, Christine. Can you try that again in fewer words?
Well, it looks like Siri tried to pick something up while I was talking. I didn't even say anything special, but hey. So yeah, we have 10 locations, as far south as Long Beach and as far north as Chatsworth. If going up and down the list here, there are multiple camps that you could enroll your kids in. You know, performing the summer musicals are our largest group, and then there are some specialty camps involving magic, rock the mic, which is a music production class, photography, guitar, magic, and I forget another one. Stage effects, makeup, I believe, is another one that we do. There's quite a few, and you know, depending on which location you choose to enroll in is going to determine which ones are offered, and then our performing arts camps, you know, run in 2 week cycles. So there's 10 weeks, 5 sessions. Some certain classes run 2 weeks, like our musical theater runs 2 weeks, and certain things just run 1 week, like stage effects, makeup, and rock the mic. So there's a lot of options. You know, if you have a bored child and you want them to enrich themselves and do something other than twiddle their thumbs or do drugs, then go ahead and enroll them, and you know, let me know, because then I'll see what we can do in terms of getting you the session you want. So there's a lot there. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. So other things that you know, happened during the week. I have had a really good streak right now. I have been able to walk into multiple holy sanctuaries and not burst into flames. I am very proud to say that that I haven't spontaneously combusted while doing work in churches and synagogues. You know, some people do laugh about that particular statement, but you know, I think it's that whole Catholic guilt thing. I think that, you know, for me, you know, choosing not to continue down the path of Catholicism, you know, it's that whole you know, eternal damnation on your soul kind of bit. And you know, I mean, it's probably not true, but at the same time, you know, you grow up. If you grow up Catholic, you grow up knowing that everything is wrong with you. So it's nice when I can do something right somewhere, and you know, it's confusing when I do something right, and then you know, it's okay. But at least I know that I'm not going to smell like, you know, fricassee. So yeah. On Sunday, I had the chance to videotape a performance recital. So this was singing and piano playing in Hermosa Beach at a church over there. And it was really cool because it was one of the first times that I was able to try a multicam shoot. And it's not the first time I did it, but the last time I did it was 15 years ago, involving 3 digital 8 cameras and a lot of editing, in terms of, I mean, a lot of complicated editing. One thing I discovered about Adobe Premiere CC, and I'm just tickled pink over this, because this is one of the things that, you know, 15 years ago when I was doing these shoots and video, you know, recording these stage performances and things like that, and I used to do a multicam. It was one of the most convoluted, just very convoluted, very complicated things to do, because 15 years ago, when consumer level video editing was very new and it wasn't available to everyone, you know, I happened to have gotten access to these kind of programs. Whenever you would lay down, you know, let's say a 3 camera shoot, you would have a timeline, and the timeline would be multi-layered. If you are a music editor, you would know what I'm talking about here. So if I were to think of this as a timeline, you would have camera 1 on the first line, camera 2 on the second line, and camera 3 on the third line. And somehow, manually, you had to line everything up by hearing. Yeah, like no help. Like, good luck, Chuck. Even if you used the clapper or you used anything like clapping or anything to try to sync sound up, you still had to do it manually. Unless you had the machines that allowed you to run everything in simulcast, and then everything, then you could figure it out. So when I did a full 2-hour musical, it took forever. I mean, it took me probably about 3 weeks straight to get these 2 hours smashed in, and had to do it by scene. It was extremely tedious. And nowadays I go on to Adobe Premiere CC and click multicam mode. Would you like to sync by sound? I'm looking at this going, are you kidding me? I seriously, like, I can just go, oh yeah, please take all of these and sync them together by sound, and the computer does it for you. Okay, well, if that's the case, then I think multicam shoots for recital, I think, is going to happen a lot more often at this rate. It was quite impressive, and in terms of editing an hour and 20-minute performance, it took me less than an hour to edit it. So, I mean, workflow has improved severely. It was great. So, if you're thinking of doing a camera shoot with multiple cameras, and it's a performance where you have, one camera coming here, and then you have one off to the side, and you're trying to figure out how all this is going to work, don't fear it anymore. I'm not fearing it anymore. After, I think the last multicam shoot I ever did was in 2003, I believe. 2002, 2003 was the last camera shoot I ever did until now. I went 15 years without, and only doing single cam shoots, or, acting as a secondary camera person to someone else who was going to edit. And then now this multicam shoot thing comes around. I'm going, you gotta be kidding me. Now, I don't think this is a new feature. I think this is something that was introduced in before Adobe Premiere CC, but someone didn't tell me about it, and I guess I just didn't bother to look, because back in the day when I was thinking about multicam, it was, oh yeah, you need this machine, you need this machine, you need this to time this, and then all your time codes have to be lined up, and I'm going, are you clear? Screw that. No, not going to do that. So, yeah, I'm glad that worked out. So, yay, multicam shoots. I still do videography on a regular basis, as you know, and this was just one of a couple jobs that I've been able to do. I also do photography as well, just depending on what I get called to do, and it's a very nice departure from what, other things that I've had to deal with as of late. So definitely, still do events. Let me know. So yeah, so other things that I've been doing out of boredom. Well, now that my motorcycles work again, and I'm really glad that my bikes do, I've been kind of just doing research in regards to iron butt. Now, summer's coming, and I know there's probably some jokes about, what do you mean by an iron butt? And the iron butt Iron Butt's actually an organization, the Iron Butt Association. And it's a motorcycle organization. It's dedicated to people who ride motorcycles long distances for a very, very long time and achieve mileage. They achieve mileage awards based off of how far they can go in a certain period of time. And I know that's a very weird definition of things, but that's the best I can do right now. Anyway, when I was younger and a lot more single and not so weird, actually, well, sort of, I used to do these with Eleanor, and there are several levels of the iron butt. The most basic one is the Saddle Sore 1000, which is 1,000 miles in 24 hours or less. Which, if you have a motorcycle and a good pace, and a lot of audiobooks to listen to. You can probably complete it anywhere between 17 to 19 hours on average. They give you 24 to do it. So it's really an endurance course. And then there's a couple others that this is your entry level stuff. The most extreme one is the Iron Butt Rally, which is usually 11,000 miles in 10 days or something like that. And it's a worldwide to do, and everyone who does it has motorcycles that are stacked to the nines in comfort amenities and extra large gas tanks and things like that. I mean, this is stuff that requires a lot of money to invest in, and has become a sport. I haven't really reached that point. The largest and the longest distance motorcycle, iron butt I've ever done was a Saddle Sore 2000, and this one I completed in 2011, and that is 2,000 miles in 48 hours or less. And these 2,000 miles for me, I completed in 43. So, and along the way in completing the Saddle Sore 2000, which you actually can do this, you can compound additional ride certifications. So while I was in the process of completing a Saddle Sore 2000, I also completed a Bun Burner 1500, which is 1,500 miles in 36 or less, and another Saddle Sore 1000 because that was just en route to getting the 2000. The question is, can I still do them? Chances are I probably can. Can my motorcycle still do it? I'm pretty confident. I think Eleanor's still up to the task in doing one. There is a bucket list iron butt ride that I have contemplated for a while. It's the Bun Burner Gold 1500. When I was attempting the 2011 ride, I was actually trying to hit the Bun Burner Gold, because in the eyes of the Iron Butt Association, the Bun Burner Gold is considered an extreme ride. I know you're thinking in your head, like, Saddle Sore 2000, I thought that was extreme. Well, the reason why the Bun Burner Gold is extreme is because you're trying to accomplish the 1,500 mile mark, not in 36 hours, you're trying to complete it in 24. By doing so, you have to complete this, everything has to be perfect for you. You have to complete the ride in 24 hours. It takes nearly that much time to travel 1,500 miles in the first place. And so I've noticed, doing the calculations, is I would have to maintain an average speed of at least 76 miles an hour to be able to do this, which in a normal interstate, that's completely doable. But depending on which route you take, you get trapped with weather issues, you get trapped with road construction, you get trapped with things like that. It could severely jeopardize your chances of finishing one. Now, in the case of 2011, I was en route to completing the Bun Burner Gold 1500, but as I had entered Nebraska, I was hit with major thunderstorms, a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind, and a tornado watch. Now, nothing, I don't care what competition it is, but nothing like that is worth your life. So I knew that I was still going to hit the Saddle Sore 2000. I knew I was going to hit it, but it looked like the Bun Burner Gold was going to be shelved for another day. Now, that was 6 years ago. I am hoping that if things work out well, that I would be able to relive that dream and hit that Bun Burner Gold. Now, there's a couple options that I have been looking into in terms of doing this. Now, if I started out in Lawndale, California, my house basically, from here to the Canadian border, basically the border between Washington and British Columbia, is exactly 1,500 miles. I could start from my door, go up the 5 straight, and get the certification. That's one option. Second option is riding from Lawndale down to San Clemente, then back up all the way to Shasta, California, and then riding back down again, and that would also fulfill the 1,500-mile course. So I have a couple insanity thoughts. I mean, the nice one about the latter, the one I just talked about, is that I would be back home in 24 hours, because if I went all the way up to the British, BC border, BC-Washington border, it would take a little while for me to come back. I would have to ride all the way back down. So, I mean, but it would have been pretty, because then I could have said, hey, I get to, as a formality, I could just bring my passport and cross into BC and basically say I did. I could do it. But, that remains to be seen. I think it's a matter of just time. But for anyone else who is interested in learning more about long distance motorcycle riding, I'd like to stick myself out there as a resource, especially for those who are brand new and into this kind of thing. It's not, like I said, it's more of a mental task than it is a physical one, because anyone can jump on a bike and ride. But when you're in the 11th hour and you have 300 miles to go, and you're just trying to stay positive and get through it, and everything else, just making sure that you're in a you're in a good mental position, because you have to be sure of yourself, and you also have to know what you're doing. Yeah. It's a challenge. It's really a mental challenge. I'm fortunate enough to have finished several of these, and I look forward to doing them again. I just need to be able to, find the time and the resources to be able to get everything back in tip-top shape for me to pull it off. But it's some pretty good stuff. Those are the things that I pretty much have on my agenda for today that I wanted to talk about. But if anyone's interested in a saddle sore 1000, which is your basic, having Pam, my Kawasaki versus 650, I would be more than interested in fulfilling at least a saddle sore 1000 on that motorcycle, because, well, I can. I'm thinking of doing one. It would probably be up and down the coast, because riding into I-15, I-40, you're hitting temperatures well over 100 degrees, and that's just not cool. At least on the 5, you're not dealing with it that badly, and it's a straight shot. You just got to ride past all the big rigs. But aside from that, you could do the 1,000 miles easily. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. In addition to that, if you are going to hang around for a while, I am going to post on my Facebook page an open office hour using Google Hangouts. It's a permanent chat room. So if anyone is interested in just chilling, I'm going to have that open, and my laptop will be on long after this broadcast is over. So if anyone wants just to hang out, chat on the Googles, I'm here. I'm going to be here till 3:30. I got 3 more hours of this sitting and contemplating life. It hasn't been complete sitting. One of the teachers did return equipment, and I've already wiped it out. I'm going to wipe out another laptop right after lunch, and I'm going to watch it wipe out. Yeah. Right. Go girl. Hi, Anne. Oh, I hope you are doing well. I'm assuming you're still in Alaska. But yes, I'm definitely looking at the iron butt. There's a few girls who have done it. I've seen some of the iron butt things. One of the ones I know, I think one of the more famous ones that I know is Carol Patzer, who, yeah, she's insane. She's done the rally twice. I'd like to pick her brain. I haven't been able to talk to her since I moved back to California, but yeah, iron butt is. And I think she still continues to help with iron butt, so that's really cool. Well, there's a few ladies I know that have done it. We need more of them, and it would be really nice to see more women do the iron butt, not as a passenger. Usually, because you can look my name up in the iron butt list, and I'm there. But if you go on as a passenger, you're designated as one, and okay, that's cool. You were able to sit for 1,000 miles, but okay, fine, sure. I hope you brought some good, audiobooks with you and Netflix, because that's pretty much all you could do as a passenger for 1,000 miles. Just get on and hang on. Oh man. So yeah, I'm just opening the floor up for questions here. Since I was able to hijack my blue snowball mic again, since of all of the weirdo directions and instructions I've had to do, my operations manager isn't even here today, which, yeah, go figure. All right, I'm going to clock back in. I'll see you on Hangouts, all right? So link's going to be up in just a bit, and yes, I might take you up on your offer going to Alaska. So aside from that, I will see you on the webs. Ta-ta for now.